A typical turbine engine lubrication system would consist of oil tank, filters, oil pumps, oil cooler. True airspeed TAS is calibrated airspeed, CIAS corrected for compressibility and density errors. The layer that is formed between the actual skin of the object and the relative airflow is known as the boundary layer. Viscosity is the temperature dependence of an oil. Maintaining CIAS and flight level constant. Lower true airspeed because of the indicated airspeed. The main reason for opening the cowl flaps is to control the LCHT cylinder head temperature. Mechanical stress of the turbine blades can be caused by overheating and overcooling. When leaning the mixture for the most economic cruise fuel flow, excessive leaning will cause high cylinder head. Calibrated airspeed CIS is obtained from indicated airspeed IAS by correcting for the position and instrument errors. In the event of failure of the normal method of system pressure limiting, a hydraulic system usually incorporates a high-pressure relief valve. The purpose of the turbine section is to use some of the energy in the rapidly moving hot gases exiting the combustion section to turn a shaft to drive the compressor. When a streamlined airflow is deflected downwards by an aerofoil, the air pressure above becomes less and critical angle is increased. Stroke is defined as the distance between the top dead center and the bottom dead center. In the absence of position and instrument errors, calibrated airspeed is equal to indicated airspeed. When trailing edge flaps are extended in level flight, the change in pitching moment, ignoring any effects on the tailplane, will be nose down. The function of the air inlet is to present a relatively distortion-free, high-energy supply of air to the compressor. The function of the pressure relief valve in the lubrication system is to control the pressure of the oil reservoir. The aerodynamic center of the wing is the point where the pitching moment coefficient does not vary with angle of attack. Magnetic chip detectors are fitted in the oil system to give early warning of contaminated oil filter. Bracca horsepower is defined as the power actually available at the engine output shaft. Equivalent airspeed IAS is obtained from calibrated airspeed CIAS by correcting for compressibility error. The electromagnetic power of a coil might be increased by increasing the magnetic polarity. To protect various circuits and components, circuit breakers or fuses are used. A capacitor is often considered an energy storage device. Calibrated airspeed CIAS is indicated airspeed, IAS corrected for position and instrument errors. The maximum lift coefficient occurs at the stall angle, which also has a high drag coefficient. When is the risk of carburetor icing at its highest? On a cold, rainy day. FADEC means Full Authority Digital Engine Control. The LP shut-off valve, cock, is not used to stop a gas turbine engine because this may result in spontaneous combustion in the turbine section. Compared to a tire fitted with an inner tube, a tubeless tire presents the following characteristics. 3. Lower risk of bursting. 4. Better adjustment to wheels. Thermal stress can be caused by overheating and overcooling. Current from all alternator or generator is delivered through a voltage regulator to a bus bar. Calibrated airspeed CIAS is obtained from indicated airspeed IAS by correcting for the position and instrument error. Select the correct option. The inertia of a body is directly proportional to its acceleration. While maintaining the same true airspeed TAS with an increase in altitude, the indicated airspeed IAS will reduce. Parameters to monitor a hydraulic system in the cockpit can be pressure, fluid temperature, and quantity. The cross-feed fuel system can be used to feed any engine from any fuel tank, adjust fuel distribution. The aerodynamic center of the wing is the point where the pitching moment coefficient does not vary with angle of attack. The chemical oxygen generator supplies oxygen for about 15 minutes. For most jet transport airplanes, slat extension has a greater effect on stall speed than flap extension. Which of the following statements about the difference between Kruger flaps and slats is correct? Deploying a slat will form a slot. Deploying in a Kruger flap does not. The total reaction has two components, lift and relative airflow. The bypass ratio, 1 is the ratio of bypass air mass flow to HP compressor mass flow. 2 can be determined from the inlet air mass flow and the HP compressor mass flow, and the HP compressor mass flow 1 is correct. The wake turbulence is the most severe when the generating airplane is 1. Tying slowly, 2. Heavy, 3. In a clean configuration. One of the main characteristics of wind shear is it can occur at any altitude in both the vertical and horizontal planes. Magnetic chip detectors are fitted in the oil system to give early warning of contaminated oil filter. Which statement is correct for a gas turbine engine with a constant speed propeller and free power turbine when the power setting is increased? 1. The gas generator's speed decreases. 2. The EGT remains constant. Equivalent airspeed, EEAS, is obtained from calibrated airspeed, CIAS, by correcting for compressibility error. After air has passed through the compressor of a gas turbine engine, the temperature will be higher than the inlet temperature. Select the correct option. Mass means the amount of matter in a body. In the absence of position and instrumental errors, IAS is equal to calibrated air. A typical turbine engine lubrication system would consist of oil tank, filters, oil pumps, oil cooler. Regarding a jet engine, 1. The maximum thrust increases as the pressure altitude decreases. 2. The specific fuel consumption is proportional to pressure altitude at constant TAS says. A stage in an axial compressor consists of a rotor disc followed by a ring of stator blades. One of the advantages of an annular combustion chamber is a reduced thermal stress on the turbine. Connecting two 12-volt 40 ampere-hour capacity batteries in series will result in a total voltage and capacity, respectively, of 24 volts, 40 ampere-hour. When flaps are deployed at constant angle of attack, the lift coefficient will increase. When altitude increases in a normally aspirated piston engine, mixture must be adjusted because there is a decrease in air density resulting in too rich a mixture. The function of the pressure relief valve in the lubrication system is to control the pressure of the oil reservoir. What is the effect on induced drag of an increase in aspect ratio? Induced drag decreases because the effect of tip vortices decreases. In a subsonic convergent duct, the velocity increases, pressure decreases, and temperature decreases. The function of a hydraulic selector valve is to direct system pressure to either side of the piston of an actuator. Connecting two 12-volt 40 ampere-hour capacity batteries in series will result in a total voltage and capacity, respectively, of 24 volts, 40 ampere-hour.